Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about the Morby method. And as far as it's actually quite simple, as Mr. Morby basically says. But what you have to remember, it's similar to a double close. Okay, very similar. So there's always going to be two closings using the Morby method, and there has to be. So, so if you know how to do one, you know how to do the other. We all know how to do the double close, just going to the title company twice. Even in the Morby method, there's going to be a double close, but you may not have to go to the double. But he explains all of that. So, in the transaction, and we hope to use no money of our own. So we have to ask ourselves, where's the money coming from? So basically, in project finance, in larger transactions, there are sources that are called sources and uses. So if we know what our uses are, where's the money coming from? We know how to use the money, where's the money coming from to satisfy that thing? So let's assume that in our particular case, we had an owner who was willing to do a seller transaction, a seller financing transaction with us, but his constraint is he really needs a lot of money up front to work on another project or just whatever the hell his own business is. So let's describe an any project, okay? And I'm going to pick one that's going to be close to like $400K. And basically he feels like he's going to need around $160K for his other thing. So these are effectively what his lending box is gonna need. He wants this amount and he needs this amount, but he's willing to basically, if he can get this, he's willing to basically finance up to 240 if he needs to with seller finance, okay? And he really doesn't care about this number. He cares about this number. How much money is in his pocket? That's what he basically wants. So in this particular case, we know that we're going to basically have to at least get, 160. Well, the house is basically 400, okay? So the uses is 160,000 to seller is cash. So how are we going to get the 160? We have to come up with 4. So we need 160 here, and then we need a remaining 240,000 in payments. Okay? But we still need to come up with, and that gives us the 400 grand. So how are we going to pay for this? Well, we know that for the 400, we can basically probably go out and get a hard money loan. Okay? So that would be $280,000. But of that and all of that amount, so again, this is the uses of the thing. This is to pay things off, and then there's also going to be closing cost, okay, that we need to factor into certain things. Is he going to pay for the closing costs, or are we going to pay for the closing cost? In this particular case, if I'm giving him 160K, he can pay for the damn closing cost. But that's me. That's not always going to work. Sometimes we're going to have to pay for it ourselves. Okay, so this still leaves a shortfall. The 280 that we get from the hard money lender is going to leave a shortfall of $120,000. Where is that going to come from? Well, the 120 is going to be from a private money lender or a transactional lender. So now we've got our uses and we've got our sources of funds. This actually describes what we want to do in the first closing. We need to basically get the owner the $400K in some forms. So we're going to get a loan for the 280 from a hard money lender and $120,000 from a private money lender or transactional lender. This transaction is going to last probably, this loan right here is going to basically be about 4 to 7 days. Okay. So, in the first closing, what are we doing? And I'm going to try to shift this up a little bit so that we get to see it, because about 90% of the times I blow it. So, in the first thing, we basically go to the title company, and now we deposit. We're going to title and escrow the $400,000, okay, which is the 280 and the 120, with escrow instructions. And this is basically to tell the escrow instructions, tell the title company when and where and to who the money is going to be dispersed. Okay? So that's what we're going to kind of do first. We've got the money in, title closes. But all of the money is retained in escrow for the 4 to 7 days while we complete the second closing. Okay? And didn't wipe off my other board. So let me stop it and I'll wipe off the other board.